Angels, it's Hailey Reese and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited that you are here and I hope that you are having an absolutely fantastic morning, afternoon, or night, whatever it is for you when this video finally reaches you. Today's video is one that I'm pretty excited to get into because today's case is yet another terrifying true Ouija board experience, except this one is different than any other experience we've dove into in the past. And I'm very curious to hear what you guys think of this particular case. It's definitely interesting and terrifying to say the least. Before we get into today's video though, I would just very quickly like to thank today's video sponsor, Ana Luisa. Now I know that I'm probably gonna get a ton of comments on my earrings that I'm currently wearing. I've been getting a lot of comments on my jewelry as of lately, and I have been wearing my new pieces from Ana Luisa and I just absolutely love them. Ana Luisa crafts high quality jewelry at very affordable prices. But even beyond their beautiful jewelry pieces, Ana Luisa cares about their impact on the planet. So they are carbon neutral from both their products to their packaging, which I am obsessed with both. They have beautiful designs that make you feel so good to wear them. I know for me personally, the amount of compliments that I get on these jewelry pieces just makes me feel so good whenever I'm going out, because I do love to dress up an outfit with jewelry. And overall, their pieces are elegant, high quality, more importantly, affordable, and they just make you feel good wearing them. Ana Luisa offers fast delivery all across the world, and therefore they make a great gift to either yourself or someone that you love and care about. They also have pieces ranging from like $39 to higher end pieces, so there's truly something on Ana Luisa for everyone. You guys can get either yourself or someone that you care about a beautiful gift from Ana Luisa for up to 40% off. I will have a link at the very top of my description for you guys to check out Ana Luisa. I truly know you guys will absolutely adore them and the pieces that you receive, so make sure to check them out at the very top of my description. And thank you so very much to Ana Luisa for elevating my jewelry collection and just making me feel good. I feel like the older I get, the more that I'm investing in like a wider range of jewelry to dress up, outfits, and I love the pieces. So thank you so much for sponsoring this video and for making me feel beautiful. And without further ado, let's head into a lot of it of a darker subject matter. Story begins with a 14-year-old girl named Jessie. Now at the time of this story, Jessie was moving into a new house with her family and was an only child. Jessie had had an older sibling who had passed away before she was ever born, and she never obviously got to meet this sibling. So a lot of Jessie's life was spent self-entertaining and just finding ways to keep herself occupied as an only child. Now, because of her older sibling's passing, her parents were like even more protective of her. It was almost as though she was never allowed to have sleepovers or even really have friends outside of when she'd be at school, because they were so protective over their child since they'd lost a child in the past. The home that they were moving into wasn't an old home, but wasn't a new home per se. The way that the home was described was like, this home wasn't spooky, wasn't scary. There was nothing about it that would give you like the heebie-jeebies. It was just your average, beautiful home that they were going to turn into a family home. Jessie remembers one afternoon that she was actually home alone at the time, or actually inside of the house home alone. Her parents were outside doing some yard work, and she decided to go and explore the house a little bit further. They just moved into it. She was kind of like getting a lay of the land, if you will, and decided to go down to their cellar-like basement to see what it was all about. Now, she describes this feeling as just adventurous and curious. She wasn't afraid of what could be down there or anything of the sorts. She was just wanting to see what could be down there. And that was when she discovered in one of the dark corners underneath a flight of stairs in that like cellar basement area, a Ouija board. Now, at this time, she knew what Ouija boards were, she knew how they were supposed to work, but she would never have been allowed to have owned one as her family was incredibly religious, and she also never would have really asked for one. It wasn't something that she desired to do. So at that given point in time, she kind of decided just to leave the Ouija board underneath the stairs and continue on with her day. As the days continued though, Jessie couldn't stop thinking about this Ouija board. She said it was almost like it consumed her every thought. Every other thought in her mind throughout the days was to go back for that Ouija board and maybe just give it a go. So one day she decided to head down to the basement, snag the Ouija board, hide it, and bring it up to her bedroom. She said that she kept the Ouija board under her bed for a couple of nights because she was worried her parents might find it and freak out that she even had one, or even worse, freak out that there was one in the house and become paranoid. So she hid it underneath her bed. And a few nights into doing so, she started having these really strange dreams. These dreams were of her deceased sister. At first, they started out just as dreams. Jessie would have these dreams of her sister coming to her. She knew what her sister looked like and knew so much about her sister because of her parents, but like I said, she'd never met her. So these dreams at first felt like just dreams. But as time went on and as the days progressed, she started feeling like maybe her sister was actually coming to contact her. One night, Jessie said that she woke up to seeing that figure of her sister inside of her room. Her sister never said anything to her while she was inside of her room, but she pointed to underneath of Jessie's bed, basically telling her, use the Ouija board to talk to me. Because this experience felt so real, Jessie was really apprehensive to use the Ouija board to talk to her and would call out to her sister, basically saying like, come to me in my dreams, we can talk there, we don't have to use the Ouija board. But in the coming nights, she would no longer see her sister. Eventually, Jessie just decided that maybe her sister wanted to use the Ouija board to communicate with her instead of the dreams, and that the dreams were just a way to get her to communicate with her. So one day, Jessie pulls out the Ouija board from underneath her bed and decides to play it alone. The first red flag that Jessie didn't recognize as a red flag was that in the beginning, the planchette seemed to move in very random ways. It was moving to all four corners of the board. It was moving in a figure 8, which you guys know if you've watched my previous videos, those are not good signs with a Ouija board. But eventually she kind of got the hang of it and felt like her sister was able to channel through her and communicate. And so every single day for months, Jessie would talk to her sister. Without missing a beat, without missing a day, she would get on that Ouija board and communicate with her sister. Her sister would talk to her about what life after death was like, how much she wished she got to meet her. They would have what Jessie thought was really meaningful conversations. Until one day, Jessie came home and wasn't feeling well. She was feeling rather sick. She didn't want to play with the Ouija board that day because she just wanted to sleep and she didn't feel well. And that was when she decided to lay down and have a nap, and was visited by what she won't even describe. She said it was like what hell would be described as in books on hell. It was dark, it was horrible, and it didn't really feel like her sister at all. But it had the face of her sister telling her, how dare she not communicate. The next day, Jessie pulled out the Ouija board and decided to continue communicating with her sister. And that was when her sister started making requests for Jessie to say that she's allowed to enter into her room and then to break the Ouija board. That was like what she was spelling out, was that she wanted Jessie to verbally say that she could enter her room and then break the Ouija board to let her out of it, almost. This was the first time Jessie felt like something was really off. In fact, she thought that that strange dream that she had had was just paranoia, or because she wasn't feeling well, she was having strange dreams. She didn't think it was anything to do with her sister, but something about this didn't feel right. In the beginning, when she talked to her sister would tell her that life was beautiful on the other side, that she's so grateful she crossed over at the time that she was supposed to, and while she's sad she's not with her family, she's always with them, and now all of a sudden she wanted out. And a quick side note for our sake here, if you guys are new to my channel, you may not have heard this before, but demons require permission for entry. Demons will ask permission to enter into your home, into your life, and they require that answer. And that's not to say that the demons haven't been welcomed in previous situations and you've moved into a space that is occupied by demonic or dark forces or energies. But if you were in a cleansed space, a demon cannot just enter and inhabit your space permanently. So this was a big red flag. But Jessie was so desperate to be close to her sister that she did, in fact, give permission for entry and break the Ouija board. Jessie said that it was almost immediate that the energy in the room shifted. There was something very, very off. She felt like she was supposed to feel good and happy and protected and guided by her sister, but all of a sudden the house just felt dark and gloomy and just like this feeling of something terrible about to happen. A few days after this incident, the family cat had died and Jessie's mother was becoming increasingly ill. She also noticed that the cross that they had hanging by their front door was continuously knocked off until it actually broke in half. Jessie said that the next few months were absolute terror for her. She would have horrible dreams that would turn into sleep paralysis, that would turn into seeing things physically in her room. She felt like whatever she had let out of that board was not her sister. She had a terrible feeling about it. But eventually that would be confirmed when Jessie would finally have a decent night's sleep and what she believes was truly her sister came through in her dreams and told her that she had accidentally let something very, very dark out of that board that had been impersonating her. At this point, Jessie didn't know what to do, so she eventually had to go and tell her mom and dad the entire situation, to which that they brought her to the church. Jessie said it took months of going between different people who thought that they could help her to get any sort of help on the situation. She said it was never as easy as it sounds when you Google things or you hear things on the news. She said it was so hard to get somebody to not only believe her, but to want to help her. She said that she ended up talking to somebody with gifts who told her that Ouija board had been owned by somebody prior who dabbled into dark practices. We've talked about this before, but there is no good or bad magic or even like good or bad witchcraft. It's how the individual chooses to use it. Like black magic in and of itself is just how an individual chooses to practice said magic, if that makes sense. And this individual who had previously owned the Ouija board was using her gift to dabble into the darkness. She was summoning and welcoming dark forces. And so when Jessie got hold of the board, whatever it was that was attached to it was powerful enough to recognize Jessie's deepest desire and capitalize off of it in order to get out of the board. The family actually ended up moving houses and had to do a series of cleansing things. And Jessie says even to this day, if her energy shifts into like a darker energy, like if she has a really bad day or she's around negative people or whatever the case may be, that her vibration kind of lowers, she can just feel like something's watching her, like this dark force is around her. And she feels incredibly guilty for what she may have let into the world. Jessie has been sharing her story nonstop ever since it happened because she feels as though, especially young people, need to be more educated on what could happen with a Ouija board, and I couldn't agree more. I've talked about this so many times, but tools are tools. Like I just said a few minutes ago, you know, there is really no black magic. It's how an individual chooses to use the magic that makes it black magic. Same thing as like there's really no good or bad tools to communicate with the other side. It's about knowing that it's not a game. It's about knowing how to properly close it out, knowing the warning signs. Had Jessie been educated on Ouija boards, the moment it started doing figure eights and going to all different corners and acting crazy of the sorts, she should have closed out the session and, you know, gotten rid of the board. But I think this story is so interesting because it's so true when it comes to darkness, how often darkness will prey on our biggest insecurities or prey on our deepest desires. And I think sometimes we have to take a step back and ask ourselves, is what we're doing safe? When it comes to the other side, there are so many things that even we do behind the scenes to protect ourselves in certain situations and to ensure that in going in on certain investigations or heading to certain locations, we're staying safe and protected in a good vibration, and that if we feel anything going wrong at any given point in time, it doesn't matter the amount of views that it could get. It doesn't matter content. It matters the reality of the situation, and that is that we are real people who are in a world battling good versus evil, even among the human race. So I wanted to share this story kind of as a cautionary tale, but also to really ask your guys' opinions on it and what you think ended up happening to said entity. I'm very, very curious to know, but that is basically it for today's video. Once again, I would just absolutely love to thank Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. I absolutely love you guys. I love your jewelry. I think it is so elegant and classy and beautiful, and I'm so excited to share them with you guys. So make sure that you guys click the link at the very top of my description. You can get a gift for yourself or someone else for up to 40% off. Come on! Trust me, you guys will not regret it. So thank you so much to Ana Luisa. If you guys are new to my channel or you are just not yet subscribed but you do enjoy my content, I would seriously love it more than you'll ever know if you would go ahead and click that subscribe button. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Remember, my loves, to do all things with kindness. And until next time, I seriously love you so much.